What happens when a superhero is unbearably hungry, but hungry for something that most people don't think about? Color. He has an insatiable hunger for all color and wants to drain all color from the world. He woke up gray and cold in the middle of a black and white forest. He sat up and looked out over the black and white, but he felt empty. So empty. He stumbled through the black and white forest like he was sleepwalking. Was this a dream? Why did it look like this? He walked for hours and hours, and the hunger got worse. He needed something, but it wasn't food. He didn't know who he was. He couldn't think. He couldn't feel properly. At the edge of the forest, color started to bleed in. A little bit of green, a little bit of brown there, until finally the entire forest was red and yellow and brown. The colors of fall. He fell down to the ground and breathed in. Yes, a voice in his mind said. Yes! As soon as he breathed in the color, Color Man remembered who he was, what he wanted. He jumped into the sky, high above the forest, now drained out of more color. And Color Man, the hero who got his strength from color, flew through the sky. His eyes glowed with rainbow glows. The rainbow diamond etched in his forehead glowed with every color under the sun. He crashed down into the center of the city and inhaled. It only took one breath for all of the colors, the red off of a man's shirt, the gray from the road, everything to drain and drain and drain and drain into Color Man's body. His face was full of emotion, genuine happiness, color, and then pain. The entire city around him was gray, black, and white. I need more, Color Man said, jumping into the sky, flying, searching. For all the color that he absorbs into the amulet on his head, it's still not enough. And yet the citizens, looking around, seeing their bodies in complete black and white, for as far as the eye can see, they are in abject terror. As he flew through the gray city, the Color Man didn't think of himself as a supervillain. In fact, he thought of himself as sick. If he didn't consume color of all the different things in all the colors of the rainbow, he would wither and die and waste away. He didn't know what it was like not to have color, and he tried to use his incredible strength, speed, and color blast to help people when he could. But just the color inside him, he just couldn't give away the color inside him. He saw a parade full of color, rainbows everywhere, people laughing, and Color Man felt deep hunger. He had just consumed color, and yet, again, that's what he needed. There was color everywhere. Color Man crashed into the middle of the street. The parade stopped. The music died. Children looked at Color Man with a mixed expression. Was he a hero or a villain? He looked into a little girl's face, a little girl with a rainbow painted on her cheek. And he grit his teeth, holding in the desire for the hunger, holding in the desire for color. He jumped up in the air and flew away from the color parade, trying not to absorb it. What are you doing? The crystal on his forehead spoke. You are my slave. Feed me. No, Color Man said. He tried to fly away, but the crystal was pulling him, making him fly back down towards the parade. He looked into the bleachers and saw people calling someone who could stop him, and he tried to stop himself. He landed in front of the children again of the parade, and he saw the same little girl. Are you here to help us? She said. And Color Man couldn't hold it back anymore. He absorbed all the color from the parade, draining into the crystal on his head. Yes, the crystal in his forehead said. Yes! Boom! Color Man didn't even see what hit him. He smashed through a skyscraper and was lifted by his shoulders outside the city. Evacuate, a superhero said into his communicator, pulling Color Man out of the city, out over the ocean. Color Man screamed in rage. What are you doing? Come quietly, pal, the hero said. The professionals are here. Color Man shifted directions and kicked the hero into the face. The flying hero flew into the clouds, and Color Man flew around, facing him over the ocean. The city was half drained, Color Man standing on the black and white half of the city, and the hero floating above the part of the city that had color, protecting. Everybody knew who the Defender was. He was one of the big boys, a member of the Golden Dawn superhero team. They only intervened when there were direct, world-ending threats. Color Man put his hands up. I'm sorry, you don't need to be here. I'm not a threat. Draining the world of color? The Defender said. Yeah, I think I'm exactly where I want to be. Color Man put his hands up and tried to blast Color, but instead, Defender punched him in the face faster than he thought possible. Color Man sailed through the sky, but the Defender was already there. He elbowed him down into the ocean. Color Man didn't know what line was up or down, and the Defender held his breath, pushing him under the water. Color Man was bleeding out color, making the ocean more colorful, more beautiful. This was a sign that he was losing strength, losing power. He screamed in the water and he couldn't breathe, but the Defender was holding him down with grit teeth. Why must I always protect you? The crystal said, and it blasted a ray straight into the Defender's face. The Defender was knocked over, and Color Man desperately flew out of the water. He floated above the ocean for a moment. He had a moment of choice, looking at the half-drained city. Would he leave and fly over the ocean, or would he go back? He turned to leave. He fought against the crystal in his mind, flying with shaky intensity. No, the crystal said, and Color Man couldn't do anything. He was pulled, as if by a cybernetic force, but really by the crystal embedded in his forehead, back towards the city. He landed in the middle of it. I won't drain it, Color Man said, screaming at the crystal, but the crystal didn't care. You think this is a democracy? The crystal screamed. You feed me color, I give you power. That's how this works. If you don't listen to me, you die. But the Defender appeared, punching Color Man down onto the pavement. You cannot steal color out of this world, the Defender said. You're going down. Color Man put his hands up and started crying. I can't control it. The crystal's controlling me. It needs me to drain color. Please, you're a superhero, right? The Defender stood there. His normally blue and red costume had been completely drained. His normal skin had been turned gray. The Defender's color had been drained into the crystal on the Color Man's head, and Color Man still begged. It's endlessly hungry. If I don't feed it hunger, I forget who I am. I'm starving. I'm really starving. And the Defender looked at him with genuine concern. Will you let me take it out of your head for you? Color Man hesitated just for a moment, and then the crystal exploded with power. Defender was knocked back, and the crystal screamed in rage. Such a temporary host to drain so much color, the crystal said. Color Man tried to understand what was happening. The crystal was controlling his body, beating into the Defender's face, beating over and over and over again. But the Defender's training took over. Color Man punched into the pavement right where the Defender's head had been, but the Defender had moved his head in a second. Oh, I really don't get to let loose like this, the Defender said. He kicked Color Man, sending him flying through the sky. Color Man was disoriented. The color he had bled made him slowly floating down towards the ground, in a field of green outside the city. He put his hands up ready for when the Defender arrived, but instead, the crystal absorbed all the green out of the field into the Color Man's eyes. The crystal took over his mind, and he started speaking in the crystal's voice. This world doesn't deserve color, the crystal said, through Color Man's mouth. He put his hands into the ground, and Color Man felt a draining ability that he hadn't had before. He was pulling so much color out of the ground, out of the planet's core. As he looked around, even the sky's blueness was draining away. The entire color of Earth flowing into his body. It was so much power, unlimited power. In front of him, Color Man saw the crystal constructing a body for itself, a body made out of rainbow color energy. Soon the host will be unnecessary, the crystal laughed. Soon I will. The Defender kicked Color Man in the back of the head, and he blacked out. Color Man woke, cold, weak. He felt up towards his head and felt the crystal, small, not even colorful anymore. Jet black. You did a real number on us, the Defender said, standing outside of a force field cell with his arms crossed. I'm sorry, Color Man said. He didn't even hear the crystal's voice in his mind anymore. I was trying to use my powers for good. It took over, Color Man said. I understand, the Defender said. Based on our study of the crystal, if you hadn't been fighting it, it would have constructed its own body. The entire world would have lost all of its color. And now it's just me, Color Man said, feeling at his skin, completely black and white. Sometimes that's what being a superhero is, the Defender said, taking it on the chin for the rest of us. Color Man smiled. The Defender smiled back. You're a good man. And he left Color Man to rot in the cell without any color at all.